Good morning, or good afternoon, or perhaps good evening if you're pulling an all-nighter. Whatever the time, chances are you might be feeling a certain way. Maybe a little groggy, a tad sluggish, or perhaps just not quite you yet. And if you're like billions of people across this magnificent planet, there's one simple, dark, aromatic solution that you turn to. A solution that promises clarity, energy, and the sweet, sweet reprieve from the clutches of the morning slump. We are, of course, talking about coffee. Welcome back to What Is, the channel dedicated to unraveling the mysteries of the everyday and the extraordinary. Today we're diving headfirst into a journey that spans centuries, continents, and the very chemistry within our brains. We're going to ask what exactly is coffee, and more importantly, how does this humble bean manage to drag us, sometimes kicking and screaming, into the land of the wide awake? From dancing goats to bustling boardrooms, coffee's story is a rich brew of legend, science, and cultural revolution. So grab your favorite mug, settle in, and let's awaken our minds to the incredible narrative of coffee. Discovery, the dancing goats, or so the story goes. Our story begins, as many good stories do, with a legend. Picture this, the ancient highlands of Ethiopia. Sometime around the 9th century, a goat herder named Kaldi is tending his flock. A fairly mundane existence, one might imagine. Until that is, his goats start acting unusually. They weren't just grazing. Oh no, they were practically having a rave. Leaping, prancing, bleating, with an unprecedented zest for life. Kaldi, puzzled and probably a little amused, observed them munching on the bright red berries of a particular evergreen shrub. Curiosity, being the mother of all invention, and sometimes the instigator of extremely caffeinated goats, got the better of him, and he tried the berries himself. Now, whether Kaldi was experiencing a sudden urge to perform interpretive dance with his livestock, we can only guess. But what he did experience was a surge of energy, a newfound alertness that chased away his daily fatigue. He was quite literally wide awake. Kaldi shared his discovery with the abbot of the local monastery. Initially, the abbot was less than impressed. He declared the berries to be the devil's work and tossed them into a fire. But as the story goes, the roasting beans produced an irresistible aroma, drawing the monks back. They raked the embers, ground the roasted beans, and dissolved them into hot water, creating the world's first accidental cup of coffee. They found that drinking this beverage helped them stay awake during long hours of prayer. While the dancing goats legend is, well, legendary, historical evidence suggests that coffee cultivation and consumption did indeed originate in Ethiopia, specifically in the Kaffa region, which coincidentally sounds a lot like coffee. It wasn't just a drink, it was a discovery that would profoundly alter human history. Development, from ancient brew to global bean. From its Ethiopian roots, coffee began its slow, deliberate march across the globe. By the 15th century, it had traveled across the Red Sea to Yemen, where its cultivation truly took hold. Here, Sufi mystics found it invaluable for their spiritual practices, allowing them to remain vigilant and focused during extended periods of meditation and prayer. It wasn't just a pick-me-up, it was a tool for transcendence. The method of preparation evolved too, no longer just raw berries or a rustic brew. The Yemenis began drying, husking, roasting, and grinding the beans, then boiling them in water, a process not too far removed from what we do today. They called the drink kwawa, meaning wine of the bean. From Yemen, coffee embarked on its grand tour, spreading throughout the Arabian Peninsula, Mecca, then Cairo, and by the 16th century, the Ottoman Empire had fully embraced coffee. Constantinople, modern-day Istanbul, became a bustling hub of coffee culture. Coffee houses, known as kava canes, began to spring up like mushrooms after the rain. These weren't just places to grab a quick drink. These were vibrant social centers, places where men gathered to discuss politics, play games, recite poetry, and of course enjoy a stimulating cup of coffee. They were the original social media platforms, the precursors to internet forums, bustling with intellectual debate and lively conversation. People weren't just exchanging pleasantries, they were exchanging ideas, fueled by the very beverage we're discussing. The very success of these coffee houses, however, sometimes made rulers nervous. They worried that such gatherings fostered sedition and dissent. In fact, there were several attempts to ban coffee throughout history, often by religious or political authorities who saw it as potentially subversive. Imagine a simple drink causing such a stir. Thankfully, the allure of coffee and the profits it generated proved too strong to suppress for long. Cultural impact through time, the Age of Enlightenment and beyond. The 17th century marked coffee's grand entrance into Europe. Venetian traders, already well versed in exotic goods, introduced coffee to Italy. Again, initially there was resistance. Some Catholic clergymen denounced it as the bitter invention of Satan. But Pope Clement VIII, a man clearly ahead of his time, tasted it, declared it so delicious that it would be a shame to let the infidels have exclusive use of it, and in a brilliant marketing move, blessed it. Coffee was officially sanctified. From Venice, coffee spread like wildfire across the continent. London's first coffee house opened in 1652, and within decades, hundreds more followed. These penny universities, as they were called given the price of a cup, became intellectual hotbeds. Enlightenment thinkers, scientists, writers, and politicians gathered in these smoky, stimulating environments, exchanging ideas, debating philosophies, and quite literally, brewing revolutions. It's no coincidence that many of the radical ideas that shaped the modern world, from the scientific method to democratic principles, were frequently discussed and refined over cups of coffee. People were trading ale for coffee, swapping the dulling effects of alcohol for the sharpening clarity of caffeine. Imagine the sheer volume of groundbreaking thought that might have been lost to history if everyone had simply stuck to the meat. Coffee even played a tangential but amusing role in American history. While we often focus on the taxation of tea leading to the Boston Tea Party, it's worth noting that the subsequent boycott of tea significantly boosted coffee consumption in the colonies. So in a way, coffee helped fuel a revolution. Take that, King George. By the 18th and 19th centuries, coffee cultivation had expanded globally, with European colonial powers establishing massive plantations in places like Brazil, Colombia, and Indonesia. This expansion, while making coffee more accessible, also has a complex and often dark history, tied to forced labor and exploitation. It's a reminder that even beloved commodities carry the weight of their origins. By the dawn of the 20th century, coffee was no longer just a luxury or an intellectual stimulant, it was a staple. The invention of percolation brewers, vacuum brewers, and eventually drip coffee machines made it accessible for everyday home consumption. The aroma of brewing coffee became synonymous with the start of a new day, a ritual woven into the very fabric of daily life. The science of caffeine, the brain's wake-up call. But how does this dark, magical liquid actually wake us up? It all comes down to a remarkable molecule called caffeine, the world's most widely consumed psychoactive substance. And it's doing some pretty clever things inside your head right now. To understand caffeine, we first need to understand adenosine. Adenosine is a neurotransmitter that plays a crucial role in our sleep-wake cycle. Throughout the day, as our brain burns away energy, adenosine levels steadily increase. Think of it as a biological timer, signaling to your brain that it's time to slow down, conserve energy, and eventually go to sleep. Adenosine binds to specific receptors in your brain, essentially telling your neurons to quiet down. This leads to feelings of drowsiness and fatigue. Now here's where caffeine makes its grand entrance. Caffeine is what scientists call an adenosine receptor antagonist. In plain English, it's a molecular impersonator. Caffeine's molecular structure is incredibly similar to adenosine's. So similar, in fact, it can fit perfectly into those adenosine receptors in your brain. When caffeine binds to these receptors, it doesn't activate them like adenosine does. Instead, it just sits there, blocking the adenosine from doing its job. Think of it like putting gum in a lock. The key, adenosine, can't get in, so the door, your drowsiness, can't be opened. With adenosine blocked, your brain's natural slowing down signals are suppressed. This doesn't directly add energy, rather it removes the chemical brakes on your existing energy systems. Other stimulating neurotransmitters, like dopamine and norepinephrine, which might normally be inhibited by adenosine, are now free to run wild, leading to increased alertness, focus, and even improved mood. It's like the brain's internal rave is back on, but this time, you're invited. Caffeine also has another trick up its sleeve. By interacting with certain receptors, it can cause your adrenal glands to release adrenaline, the fight or flight hormone. This further contributes to that feeling of heightened alertness, increased heart rate, and improved physical performance. You're not just awake, you're ready to wrestle a bear, or at least tackle that enormous spreadsheet. The effects typically kick in within 15 to 45 minutes of consumption, and can last for several hours depending on individual metabolism. When the caffeine eventually leaves your system, all that pent-up adenosine that's been waiting patiently suddenly rushes in to bind to its receptors. This sudden onslaught is what we often experience as the dreaded caffeine crash, leaving you feeling more tired than before you had your first cup. It's your brain finally catching up, demanding its overdue rest. It's also why you build up a tolerance. Regular caffeine consumption leads to your brain to create more adenosine receptors to compensate for the blocked ones. This means you need more caffeine to achieve the same stimulating effect. It's a vicious, yet delicious, cycle. The role in modern society, the global cult of coffee. Today, coffee isn't just a drink, it's a global phenomenon, a cornerstone of modern life, and a multi-billion-dollar industry. It's the world's second most traded commodity after oil, impacting economies, cultures, and daily routines across every continent. In many parts of the world, particularly in Western societies, coffee has become an indispensable part of the morning ritual. The sound of the grinder, the gurgle of the maker, the rich aroma wafting through the kitchen. It's the universal call to action. It's an unofficial alarm clock for millions, a gentle nudge, or sometimes a forceful shove into productivity. Coffee shops, once gathering places for intellectuals, have evolved into ubiquitous social anchors. From the bustling Starbucks on every corner to the independent artisanal roasters, meticulously crafting single-origin pour-overs, cafes serve as third spaces. Not home, not work, but a comfortable locale for connection, casual meetings, or focused individual work. They are extensions of our living rooms and offices, places where friendships blossom, deals are struck, and deadlines are met. Globally, coffee embodies vast cultural diversity. In Italy, it's a quick, strong espresso taken standard at a bar. In Turkey, a thick, potent brew served with fortune-telling grounds. In Nordic countries, where consumption rates are among the highest, it's a constant companion through long, dark winters. In Latin America, it's often a social gesture, an offering of hospitality. Beyond personal consumption, coffee fuels economies. Millions of people worldwide depend on coffee cultivation for their livelihoods. From the farmers painstakingly tending their crops in the coffee belt regions, to the roasters, baristas, and exporters, coffee supports an immense global workforce. It's a testament to the power of this humble bean that it can command such an intricate and vast supply chain. And in our increasingly demanding 24/7 world, coffee remains a steadfast ally. It helps students cram for exams, artists find inspiration, developers debug code, and parents simply survive the toddler years. It's the silent partner in countless achievements and the comforting presence during quiet moments of contemplation. From the legendary dancing goats of Ethiopia to the complex chemical dance within our brains, coffee's journey is truly remarkable. It's a tale of accidental discovery, relentless development, and profound cultural integration. It has been a source of spiritual awakening, intellectual revolution, and everyday sustenance. So the next time you hold that warm mug, savoring the rich aroma and feeling that familiar surge of alertness, take a moment to appreciate the incredible journey this simple beverage has undergone. It's more than just a drink, it's a legacy, a global ritual, and for many of us, it's the essential catalyst that allows us to engage with the world, one glorious, caffeinated sip at a time. We hope you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of coffee. If you learned something new, or if this video simply gave you an excuse to brew another cup, hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to What Is for more explorations into the fascinating things that shape our world, and let us know in the comments what's your go-to coffee order. Thanks for watching, and stay curious.